Well, welcome aboard this edition of Wild Goose Adventures. I've had a dream, and this episode, we're going to follow it. I have been to some pretty cool places. Wild Goose has got me there. We've gone out to places like Lady Musgrave Island, like Fitzroy Reef. All of them have these impossibly beautiful lagoons, just perfect to get out there and explore. When there's no wind, we're out there on the sup. We go snorkeling, we go checking out the turtles and the fish and doing all of the coral things. But when there's wind, I've been left a little bit high and dry. You might recognise that I've been doing a bit of foiling. That was the first part of this whole journey. Foiling basically involves putting a wing, like an aeroplane wing, underneath the board. With the water passing over that wing, the unequal tension will create lift, and if you get enough pressure, it will lift the board and the rider out of the water and begin to fly. The second part is the sail to what they call wing dinging. Let's go, and I want to just get this. I've just bought this, and let's have a look and let's see what is going to be involved. Looks pretty tiny, doesn't it? Means that I can put it on the boat, I can just have it with me, and it's not taking up much room. I can undo it. In essence, this is the mast. This front piece is the mast, and it inflates. And the second part of the inflation is the boom. All of that means that there's no metal, there's no having to carry extra things. That's it. Let's pump it up and give it a whirl. So here we go. Got the pump. At the front of the sail here, there are two valves. The recommendation is that we pump the mast up first, and that we take it to a pressure of about 6 psi. There we go, 6 psi. It's actually pretty hard. The second part is to inflate the boom. They recommend that that goes to slightly higher psi, namely 8. There we go, that's 8 psi there. Now, one thing I didn't do, and that they really recommend, and you're going to have to use this anyway, is this leash. The leash attaches here. Looks very similar to a bodyboard type leash. The idea of this is that you attach this to your arm, and that way it can't go anywhere. There we have it. It's all pumped up, ready to go. Upside down, it's not going to have any drive. But what happens when we turn it up the other way? So now we've got the wing inflated, turned up the right way, and it is so light. Look at that, I can just hold on to it and it actually wants to lift with just one finger. It is so light, it's incredible. Gone are the days of big wishbones and big masts and lots of rigging. And as you can see, you can just do this. I could do this from the boat. Now, speaking of sailboarding, I've done a lot of sailboarding in the past, which is probably going to work well in my favour. It is a little bit different though, because the main aim of this isn't drive. On a windsurfer, you'd have it like that and you'd be leaning against it. With this, we're actually trying to get the foil out of the water, so it's all about lift. And so we actually spend more time just doing this and keeping it lifted above our heads. So unlike the sailboard where you would get lots of stress on your back and it'd be rather difficult, this is actually really super light and super easy. And this is actually what our motion is. These foil boards have no centerboards and it's notoriously hard to go upwind. Now it's okay here because if I fall off and I get blown downwind a little bit, then I can just find the beach and I can come back and do what they call the walk of shame back to my starting point. But I really want to get this nailed because when I get out to Lady Musgrave, out to Fitzroy Reef, I have no fallback. There isn't a walk of shame because the only thing that's waiting for me at the bottom is the rocks to dash me and the waves to crunch me. And so the idea is to get a bit of practice in before I do all of that so I know where I'm going. So I'm going to start on my knees, get my front leg up, and then once I get a puff of breeze to help me, then I just lift up and I'm ready to go. That is supposed to be as easy as it is. When I want to start doing that, like a normal windsurfer, your backhand then starts to sheet on and that gives you your lift, and even though it's probably only blowing 5 knots here, I can get plenty of lift and it's really noticeable. Now the guy at the shop said another good way to practice before you get into the water when there's not much wind like this is to use a skateboard. Now I haven't used one of these for a long time and it's probably not the skateboard that he had in mind, but it was the only one I had. Thanks Cooper. Remember those days when you were 10 years old? Time for me to see if I can get this going now.
I know we grew so close, then you let it go. You're running from what's inside of your soul. You're only human, just a boy, and you don't know how to start. Keep on running, running for gold, and when you run out of love, you can come back home. You're second guessing.
Well, that was fun. I think we managed that successfully. Now to try it on the water.
Have you lived your life upside down? Walked the fields and fallen down, left the ones you love. Have you found your tune, found your place? Somewhere in outer space, on the next wave, on the next train. Are you free? Do you believe? Don't be a stranger, we all are the same. Don't be a stranger, just a different name. Just like my soul's on the same kind of wave. Just don't be a stranger. Upside down, turn your lifestyle all around, let your hair out in the wind. Same minds, different faces, never ceases to amaze the freedom to be one. Are you free? Do you believe? Don't be a stranger. We all are the same. Don't be a stranger. Just a different name. Just like my soul is on the same kind of wave. Just don't be. In the moment, as you hold it, arms are open wide. When we come together, we see eye to eye. Feel the warmth in the sky. Don't be a stranger. We all are the same. Don't be a stranger. Just a different name. Just like-minded souls on the same kind of wave. Just don't be a stranger. We all are the same. Don't be a stranger. Just a different name. Just like-minded souls on the same kind of wave. Just don't be a stranger.
That was pretty cool, wasn't it? First session of wingdinging done and dusted. Haven't managed the foiling jibe and don't know about this tacking business, but that's more for later on. Hope you've enjoyed this edition of Wild Goose Adventures. If you have, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, that would be totally awesome. And until next time, smooth sailing.